And we're back. We're back and we're still at this group session. Married at First Sight, Season 20, Episode 14. Courtney is on the spot. And she said she doesn't know if she wants to end it right then and there. So Michelle chimes in with her 2 cents. And she said in the past, she was in a relationship just because she wanted to work and she regrets it. Courtney says all she wants is for him to feel like she can be open with him. Courtney, stop lying. You have never created an environment for that man to be open with you. Everything he said gave you the ick. Everything he couldn't or could do, you shut down. You've never ever fostered an environment for that man to be open with you. Nick says he doesn't know if he should stay 2 more weeks. Courtney was like, you know what, forget it. We need to call this off. There's no reason to keep this up. My sentiments exactly. Call it off. Send her home. And then she gonna start crying like she really wanted this. They are saying bye to everyone. And of course, Courtney tries to sneak and make plans with Adam. We have to do a rematch on that pickleball. No. Marissa, you need to watch her if you want that man. I don't know why you want him, but if you do want him, you need to watch her. I ain't gonna lie. I'm glad. Y'all know I'm glad Courtney gone. I'm glad she's gone. So outside with Nick, he tells Courtney, he's thankful to have experienced this with her, and he's kind of tearing up. And she's like, "Oh, now you want to cry? Now you?" I said, "Damn, man, he can't do nothing." Okay. I was like, "Girl, go ahead, because I'm done with her." So Nikki and Sean are next. Side note. Marissa looks like she can't keep her eyes open to save her life. I don't know why she's having the hardest time staying awake. I don't know if she's high. She looks like she had an edible or something. Nikki said they're progressing. Sean said the issue is in attraction. Well, her issue is in attraction, but his issue is that there's a puzzle piece missing and he wants to talk to her mom or her family. Nikki said she needs to feel good about the situation before introducing him to her family and friends. And Lisa was like, that's ass backwards. If you dating somebody, you married to somebody, you want the world to see him, or your people to see him. So then Nikki starts backpedaling. Well, I said that was last week. This week, it's okay for him to meet my mom because, we kissed the other day and stuff. And yeah, I know I'm paraphrasing, okay? I tell y'all what I heard. So Paul said, how romantic do you guys feel when the cameras go off? And Sean said, well, we rubbed each other's hands and I knew I should have had this one. Sean said, we rubbed each other's hands and stuff and we kissed. So this sounds like high school to me. So Paul said, this feels like a business. I said, not even. He's like, this is like a partner. Like, what is going on? Nikki said she would like more of the butterflies. You can't get butterflies in somebody you don't want, okay? You can't. That's not how butterflies work. And side note, sometimes y'all gotta have that discernment. Sometimes when butterflies is a flight response. That means you need to run. This is not a good situation. Anyway, Sean said he wanted to take a bath together. Sean, ain't nobody about to sit in the water with you. You done got on national TV and told us that you take 3 minutes in the bathroom with no soap. Ain't nobody finna sit in the water. You know what that water gonna look like when y'all get out? Oh no. No, you would never get that dirt all up in my nether regions. Um Cam said Cam said he doesn't think she's into Sean. And nobody does, Cam. It's not just you. So Felipe and Tori. Tori said, listen, I'm not responsible for helping Felipe sort out his indecisiveness. Indecisiveness is the one. She said that's for him to do. Felipe said it has nothing to do with whether he likes Tori or is attracted to Tori. It's a matter of whether he wants to be married or not. If you didn't know if you wanted to be married, why would you go on Married at First Sight? Felipe sat on that couch and told us that he was only gonna say good things. He told me and Tori that. He said all I'm gonna say is things was good. Paul said, Felipe, you came here because you was lonely. And then you sat up there and you said you missed sleeping around. Paraphrasing. Felipe said, no, they asked me what I miss about being single, and I just gave the obvious answer. Paul said, no, that's obvious to you. But a mature man who finds a great thing, he shuts everything else off and he focuses on that great thing. He said, the problem is you ain't ready. Paul, Paul um, asked Felipe, he was like, what scares you the most? Tori being with somebody else, or you just sitting at home with them cats? And Felipe was like, I'd be upset if I saw her with anybody else. So Tori was like, yeah, he likes me enough to continue the process, but not enough to care about my emotional well being. And she said that's annoying and exhausting. I don't feel as bad for Tori as I do for like Belle, because Tori, you can see this. I, ugh, because it's Felipe. Like, why'd you let him touch you and stuff? Paul said it's painful to see the doubt from Felipe because he's never seen that from Tori. He said, today you need to decide if you're all in or not. So Felipe was like, I decided yesterday that I was all in. Paul said, I'm not convinced. Felipe said, well, you're not the person I'm trying to convince. Paul said, see, now you're trying to get an attitude. Now you're trying to be disrespectful to me. Felipe was like, no, 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 no. Paul said, I'm trying to help your ass and you want to be disrespectful? Say it with your chest. Or something like that. He said. So we get over to Mecca and Belle. Lisa said, Mecca and Felipe have the same track record for being unsure. Paul asked Belle if she's chosen Mecca, and she said yes. But she's had to initiate in the past, and she ain't trying to do that no more. And don't start. Don't do it no more. Paul said to Belle, you really like him and you don't want to push him away, so you suppress your feelings. And in the end, that just leads to resentment. And he's not wrong. He said you need to say the thing when you feel the thing. And I need to work on that too. Because I wait till I feel 2 or 3 or 5 things and then I'm going to cuss you out. So I'm going to work on that myself too. But he said you need to say the thing when you feel the thing. And that way you can get to see how he responds. Then he asked Mecca if he chooses Belle. And after a bit of thought, he said yes. Lisa said, I want to see you more certain about it. He said, it's a yes, but it's not a hell yes. Mecca, go to hell. Oh, so they were told to focus on the V's, voice, vision, and vibes. They get to Adam, and he's got his feet on these people's table. I was so aggravated. Paul said, are you comfortable? So Adam said since their bad day, Marissa's been pushing herself physically in the gym and with pickleball. Maybe that's why she looks so tired. Maybe that's why she can't keep her eyes open on the stage. Lisa was like, well, what are you doing? He said, well, she's going to meet my sister. Marissa was so surprised. He thought of that right on the spot. He had nothing lined up for that girl to meet his sister. And he said he met her friends. Marissa said her friends had concerns, and Adam was surprised by that. It's like they sit in this apartment in 2 different rooms. They don't talk. He said he thought things ended on a good note. Yeah, because you just sat out there and for sure everybody to death. People read through that. She said they didn't have a lot of time to get to know him, so they were just kind of going off what she said and her complaints. She also said she didn't think that she could be happy being so active every day. So Paul said, y'all don't communicate because how you didn't know her friends hated you and how you didn't know you was me and his sister. Paraphrasing. He said, he said there's an issue with the communication, which means there's an issue with the relationship. Clock it. Paul asked Michelle and Cam what's the most difficult thing about their relationship. And Michelle said that they were worried that they're living in a bubble. And she's confident that he's the one, but, he's having some doubts. So Cam said he's worried about how to keep it exciting 20 years from now. Paul said you just have to fall in love with your partner 20 times. And that sounds like an easy answer, but it ain't easy. It's never that easy. They asked about the L word, and they both said they were falling in love, but never actually said, I love you. Cam said he even misses her when she's doing her nighttime skincare routine. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So Paul said Cam driving 3 hours to spend the night with her when he can just wait in the sleep and wait until in the morning is love in action. Devin and Caitlin. Devin said Caitlin is opening up. She told him about her ex, and now he understands why she has these walls up. He said Caitlin said she's willing to allow him in. Now, Caitlin said she just realized that being so masculine wasn't attractive. Paul said that's great, but let's talk about you dimming your light, Devin. And Devin was like, I feel like I'm more of myself. The only thing is, when I feel away, I need to be a man and speak about it. Okay, Devin. Devin is really mature. I thought because he was like the jock of the group, um, I didn't have very high expectations for Devin. I apologize, Devin. Devin's really mature. Now they say that the boys that's raised by the women ain't good for you. They soft and up. Devin is a good guy. Or a really good actor, but he fooled me if he is. Um, he said he's still gonna be his goofy self, and even if she doesn't laugh at his goofy jokes, he's still gonna tell him. Paul said, and can you see a future with Devin? And Caitlin says yes, she can feel it getting there. So Paul tells the group, it's not about getting to the end. It's about whether you can be with this person for the rest of your life. So Caitlin said it feels good to come out on top today. Well, when they get outside, she says that. So Mecca and Belle are in the car and they're talking about Nikki and Sean. Mecca feels like Sean gave a list of demands. And Belle feels like it was examples of what he would like, how he would like them to connect. They disagree on that, and that's okay. At the house, Sean kisses Nikki with his hand on her, but I just cringed a little bit. Like, you don't just, ugh. So Nikki in the confessional, and she's talking to us, and she's like, "Girl, I'm trying." Tori is telling Felipe that she feels like nothing is changing. He hasn't figured his shit out. He said, it's the way you and Paul painted me. She was like, no, it ain't got nothing to do with no paint. This is not what that's about. Felipe said he likes her more now than he did in the beginning. And that's when the issue started because him liking her so much scared him. Stop playing, Felipe. That's manipulation 101. I mean, 101. It's the wine, okay? He said he doesn't want to argue. Just give him a week and he wants to show her. And she was like, well, what does that look like? He said, you'll see. So they hug it out. Child, Felipe wouldn't be able to touch me at this point. Every time he get in front of them people, he make it a point to embarrass that girl. He wouldn't be able to touch me. I'd be at my house right now. So Tori said sometimes he's a good husband and other times he's doubting everything. Nikki and Sean are making breakfast and making plans to talk to each other's moms. Sean said his mama wants to talk to Nikki. Now, I don't know what he what he told his mama, but his mama saw at that altar that Nikki didn't want that man. She saw the apprehension. She heard what Nikki said when she got up there. She saw how Nikki was talking back to her son when he was trying to talk to her and smiling and stuff. She knew, as a woman, she knew Nikki didn't want that man. So, Nikki has pretty much told her mom everything. So I'm sure she got a lot to say to Sean. The way Nikki looked at him when he said, just don't be mad when your mom falls in love with me tells me everything I need to know. That woman don't have nothing nice to say about Sean based on what her daughter told me. And I know because me and my daughter the same way. Cam is having a bad day and he doesn't want to talk about it. He is on the couch. I think he's overwhelmed. He said everything just feels like a chore. It's just not a good day. So Michelle was like, okay, let's take a break. So she get him up. They go walk the dogs. And they just happen to walk past somebody get married in the park. It was cute. Cam says, he's in his head about why Michelle even likes him. Michelle uses a really bad analogy for a basketball coach. She was like, it's like in sports. Would it be fulfilling if you're always winning? He was like, as a coach, yes, absolutely, it would be. She was like, yeah, but it wouldn't be challenging. We get to Adam and Marissa, and they are on a hot tub boat. I think that is so cool. I don't think I've ever seen one. Not that we have a lot of water here. He said he's been trying to show her that it doesn't have to be pickleball. They can just lounge around and have fun. Then he turns it into a full workout session. I was so irritated, y'all. He wants her to do push-ups on this, but he brings up her friends having concerns. She said, they were just concerned about him wanting her to conform because that's, how she was in her last relationship. In my opinion, Adam is not ready for marriage. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he needs somebody like Courtney. Yeah, somebody who's just willing to work out all day and be buff and stuff. Marissa's not that girl. Marissa is giving supermodel. I'd rather just not eat than to work out. So that's all I have on that. The next episode is going to be a group dinner, and that's going to be a mess too. See you in the next one. And while I'm in here and we in the groove, I'm going to go ahead and do that one too.